What is happening, everyone? Welcome to K8MRD Radio Stuff, and welcome to Mailbag Monday Video 55555. Going back to the regular microphone today. Didn't like the way the lav sounded, so if you don't like it in front of my face, you're just going to have to deal with it. So before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Josh over at Ham Radio Crash Course for hooking me up with one of his old cameras, which is what you're seeing me on now. And just to show you here, look at that beautiful Logitech 1080p camera. So thank you, Joshua. I appreciate you very much. So also figured out a couple more settings in OBS, so hopefully this should look better and or worse, depending on depending on your view of me, I suppose. So anyway, guys, if you have questions that you want to have answered, shoot me an email, k8mrd@icloud.com. Just make sure that in the subject, title it Mailbag Monday, and that way I'll be able to see it among all the other emails that I get. So let's get back to the show. Got some great questions for you this week, so I want to dive right in. And the first question is a real easy one. So this viewer asks, good afternoon. My question is, what do you use for recording videos other than iPhone? So great question. Everyone's got these fancy cameras and things, and I've got all these iPhones laying around. So that's an iPhone, and this is an iPhone here. So iPhone to iPhone, and then we've got the Logitech there that I just got now. But yeah, everything's just iPhone. I assume he's wanting to start out like doing YouTube videos. So if you like, my thing is I already have all of these extra phones that have great cameras on them. So why not just use those? They've got great image stabilization. The audio is not the best, so I use a Rode Wireless Go microphone. This has a lavalier inside of it. That little circle right there is actually a microphone. You can just clip this on your shirt like this. I do use an external Rode lavalier, so there's a wire that goes from here to my little, one of the lapel mic type things. Audio is very important. I'm still trying to master that, but audio is really more important than your video. If you got good audio, people will tend to stick around a lot longer, whereas if you've got great video and your audio is not so great, maybe not so much. So I have used a GoPro in the past. I just don't like that you need the little SD card, and the batteries didn't last long. They might have changed, but if you're starting to get into YouTube or something, I just start with your phone. I mean, it's fantastic. If you want to upgrade to a bigger like DSLR camera or something, knock yourself out. I looked into that and I was like, that's more stuff to buy, more batteries to carry around, more stuff. I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. So yeah, it's all my iPhones. So this next question is asking about power while POTAing. So SC762 race, what do you think you need to run POTA continuously and still be maintaining power? 120 watt panel, 20 amp hour battery. I can't find anything that gives these kinds of scenarios. Well, just about every single one of my 100 watt POTA activations is kind of that scenario, but I guess I don't really talk about it. But yeah, I would say a 100 watt panel and a 20 amp hour battery would be ideal, honestly. Now, obviously, you need sun. So if you're in the northern latitudes in the winter, good luck with that. You might need to daisy chain a bunch of solar panels together. So depending on kind of where you are and how sunny it is really going to determine how much you're going to need. But for me personally, even living in Michigan, and now I'm in Texas, so I don't really have that problem. But even in Michigan, we would run field day, and I would use a 20 amp hour Bio-NO battery and a 100 watt solar panel with running 100 watts with my ICOM 7300. No problem all day long. When I got home at the end of the day, I put it on my home charger and the battery was full. I put 3 amp minutes into it. So yeah, it was topped off. So that's of course going to depend on your operating style though. If you're doing 100 watts, FT8 or something, you're going to use a lot more power. But in my experience, just to kind of put it into perspective, because everybody's situation is going to be different, in about 3.5 hours, I made about 300 contacts on sideband, and I used about 16 amp hours worth of battery capacity, and I was pretty much spent after that. I don't think I wanted to go on. So, but had I had a 100 watt solar panel, I could definitely have added to that. With a 100 watt solar panel and good sun, you're going to get about 5 amps of current into your battery. So theoretically that should be darn near enough to sustain you all day, all gas, no brakes, until the sun goes down, and then you're on your own. So yeah, I would say 100 watts and a 20 amp hour battery would be plenty. Next, we've got another question about batteries and charging. This viewer says he's got an eco-worthy 20 amp LiPo. Now I'm going to assume that when he says LiPo, he actually means lithium iron phosphate. I know eco-worthy does make lithium iron phosphate batteries. I know it's not a bioenno, but it seems to be a good battery. Is there any low-cost LiPos you like? Again, we're going to assume lithium iron phosphate. And if the sun is not out, as in today, it's pouring rain, can you use your power supply to charge the battery? My power supply is variable and will do 13.8 volts. So, two-part question. Let me answer it this way. As far as low-cost batteries, yes. There are a couple that are less than bioenno. Kind of sets the benchmark for quality of lithium iron phosphate for what we do. So for low cost, the bottom of the barrel are going to be these Miati batteries. Okay, this is a 16 amp hour lithium iron phosphate Miati, found on Amazon. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. I'll put links if I find them. But these were... They were $50. I have two of these. When I bought the second one, it was $60. They also make a 20 amp hour one. So these actually work surprisingly well. I'm very impressed with them for the price. I mean, when you cut them open, Will Prowse did a video on this, and he cut one of these open, and they're not assembled very well at all. You definitely get what you pay for. But I've used these for what did I use these last summer field day? I had two of these in parallel. And they worked great. So kept my station going. If you want to jump up in quality a little bit more, these are from Gigaparts. These are the PO4 Power lithium iron phosphate batteries. Now this is a 12 amp hour version. These are all kind of the same size though. You can see there's really not much difference there. But the PO4 Powers have this little meter on it, so they'll give you the voltage reading. And if you push it again, it'll give you a capacity. I really wouldn't trust that capacity very much, but it's nice to have the voltage. This 12 amp hour goes for, I believe, $100 from Gigaparts. And then, of course, there's the bioenno. This is a 20 amp hour. This is, if I'm running 100 watts, this is the battery that I'm going to bring most of the time, just because they're just much better quality. But yeah, so that's that on the batteries. And the other question had to deal with, can you use your power supply to charge the battery? Well, sort of. Let me show you. So I want to say I don't really recommend this, but if you don't have any other means, then knock yourself out. So this is a 10 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. And you can see just plugged into this meter, it's at 13.2 volts. I've discharged this about half just for storage. So if I plug in a 12 volt supply into this Buddy Pull Power Mini, you can see my power supply is 14.1 volts. So what's going to happen is when I plug this into the load, you're going to see it start charging. So we're pulling now, the Buddy Pull Power Mini says we're pulling 3.1 amps. I think it'll go down a little bit here in a second, but the battery's at 13.5 volts, 13.5 volts there, pulling 3 amps. So what's going to happen here, though, is your battery is never going to get fully charged because my power supply is only 14 volts. Lithium iron phosphate batteries want to charge to 14.6 volts. So there's a constant current that goes until they're somewhere, I forget, somewhere near the top, let's say 14.4. Then it goes into constant voltage, and it basically just tops them off at that 14.6, and then they settle down. Yes, this is charging right now at 2.9 amps. We're getting into that, but you're never going to fully top this off. You'll probably get maybe 85-90% of this. So in a pinch, if you have to, yes, you can, but it's not really the greatest method. So the PO4 charger at Gigaparts works great. Bioenno has some great chargers. I've done another video on charging lithium iron phosphate. My main charger is from a company called High Tech. And I really like that because I can set the current and I can set the maximum voltage that I want the individual cells to charge at. So that's what I do. But yes, absolutely, in a pinch, you can 100% use a power supply to charge a lithium iron phosphate battery. Just make sure that you have a BMS or something on the battery, some way to protect the circuits, because don't just plug a battery in, if it's just raw cells, that would be bad. You want something to manage the cells. But even your, commercial, whether it's Bioenno or Miati or these PO4 powers, they have an internal battery management system. So I could just plug this right into my power supply and it would start charging. So yes, you can. It's just not going to be as good. Our next question has to deal with portable coax. And this viewer asks, Mike, what feed line works best with the PAC-10? Looking to trade my 891 for a 705. That's a bold trade, man. I commend you for that. And want a lightweight feed line. So great question. Let's talk about feed lines here. I've got a few on examples. So this is kind of probably one of the more common feed lines you're going to see. This is RG8X, and it's fairly lightweight, nice and bendable and flexible. But once you start getting into longer lengths, even 25, 30 feet of this, it starts to get a little heavier when you're doing QRP work and backpacking and things like that. So something thinner would be some of this Hyperflex 5 from Messi and Poloni. Actually has better specifications than RG8X, and it's a little bit thinner. So this would be a great option. But when I'm going portable, I use RG316. This is a very, very thin coaxial cable. Perfectly fine for HF. This is about a 20-foot run here, and just look at how small and compact this is. You technically could even use this all the way up to 2 meters. With this run here, you'd get just under, I think, 3 dB a loss. So if you're putting in 10 watts on 2 meters, you'd get about 5 watts out, little more than that. So still doable to compare to the Hyperflex 5. It's just a fraction of the size there. And another honorable mention here, kind of a very similar cable in size. This is RG174, and to show in comparison, they're almost identical. I think the 316 is just a touch thinner, but either the RG174 or the RG316 are what I use. I take the RG316. This I just acquired for a project that is in the works from the Whiskey Echo 4 Delta X-Ray Ham Radio Adventures Club. So hopefully that answers your question. Get some RG316 if you want to go really lightweight and portable. I do have a love-hate relationship with it. I love how small and compact it is. It does have quite a bit of memory, so I use the over-under method with this to coil it up. And even when I throw it out, it still kind of wants to coil back on itself. So that's a little annoying. But, the trade-off for this stuff, just the lightweight compactness of it, it really can't be beat. And you can get this at PAC-10 .com. That's where I got mine. I'll leave a link in the description. Yeah, there you go. PAC-10 antenna. Get your coax from PAC-10 as well. This last question is one that I really like a lot, because it's kind of like this mentality is what got me into amateur radio. And Ben is asking, Mike, of all the radios that you own, which radios and antennas would you bug out with and why? So talking about radios first, number one, I would bring my ICOM 705. It's HF, VHF, UHF, all band, all mode. It has an internal battery. It is a shack in a box. It already is my main radio that I take with me everywhere. So that's done and done. If there's only one, but you didn't limit me. So another radio that I would take would be the my Yaesu VX7R. This is a really rugged radio. It's waterproof. I have a signal stick antenna on here. I really like these. And this is the one with BNC. I've got a BNC adapter on this radio. So I could literally just take this antenna off of this radio and put it on this radio. just like that. And I can have VHF, UHF on either radio. So if I'm, away from camp, I can bring my HT with me. And if, say I'm fortunate enough to have someone else with me while I'm bugging out, we've got like a base rig and a portable rig. So 705 VX7R, a signal stick. But wait, there's more. I would also bring this roll-up J-pole. This is for 2 meters and 70 centimeters. You can get these at grapevineamateurradio.com. These are made by Ed Fong, and these are awesome because they're very lightweight. You're going to add some dB of gain here, but more importantly, you attach this to a rope or something, you hoist this up in a tree, and now you get height. And as we know, height is might. Get this up higher, you can talk farther, and life is good. But wait, there's more. I can't just leave well enough alone. We would also bring our DX Commander. One of my absolute all-time favorite antennas. Obviously, this is in its collapsed configuration, but multi-band vertical. I've got 40, 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10 meters all with this antenna when I get the rest of the bits and bobs, all the wires and stuff. Absolutely would not leave home without this. And I would have to probably say, the Pactena NFET half-wave would get an honorable mention. And the Chameleon lightweight NFED sloper are, that's kind of like my trifecta of HF radios, the DX Commander, the Pactena, and that Chameleon antenna. Just all fantastic. So that's what I would bug out with. There is one other honorable mention that I would like to give, though. If I had to get a new HT for VHF and UHF, I would go with the Yaesu FT5DR. I think that just checks off all the boxes for me. The ICOM ID52 is a really close second. That is, I got a chance to play with that at the Hamcation, and that thing was amazing. The Yaesu, I think, just ekes out ahead because it does APRS versus the ICOM does DPRS. There's just more people on APRS, and that would be a function that would probably be useful in a bug-out type situation. You can send text messages, you can send geographical locations and all that stuff, and it's just APRS is a bit more widely used. Not that I use it at all, but that would definitely be something that I would be interested in. So there you have it. That wraps up yet another Mailbag Monday. And I know you hate to see us go, but I did not bring a cardigan. Maybe I could change my shoes for you. I've got sandals and socks. And now I don't. So there's your Mr. Rogers ending. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have questions, email me, k8mrd@icloud.com, or leave comments on the videos, and maybe you will be featured on Monday Mailbags. And as always, hit the like button, subscribe, share it, do whatever the heck you want with it. I don't care. Just enjoy yourself and have fun playing radio. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate each and every single one of you, and we'll see you again on another episode of K8MRD Radio Stuff. 73, guys.